Happy December, everybody, and welcome to the Northbrook Sports Center for tonight's GBN hockey matchup between the Spartans and the Loyola Academy Ramblers. He's Mike Napolitano. I'm Aaron Schellen. And Mike, it's your first time here calling a GBN game at home. It's not your first experience with this Spartans club. We saw them a couple of weeks ago up in Lake Forest, but it's your first time here in Northbrook, bringing you kind of the home team version of Glenbrook North.
Right, and they did put on a show over at Lake Forest, so I'm excited to see what this team has in store for us today. They're struggling a little bit in the standings. Of course, 15 games played. They're got 5 wins, 8 losses. We mentioned the overtime loss and the overtime win, as well as a shootout loss in there. They're going to be playing a little bit tougher Loyola Ramblers team. They have played 12 games, 7 wins, 3 losses. They have an overtime loss as well, a shootout win and a shootout loss. So fairly close still in the standings, and a lot of hockey to be played throughout this season for sure.
A lot of hockey to be played, and Glenbrook North will be going with their green and yellow. We talked about this before the game. It says it looks sort of like that old school Minnesota North Stars, right, with the dark green and yellow. I like those. I like that color scheme. And then Loyola, of course, going with the colors that you wouldn't recognize for both Loyola Academy and the University of Loyola, the yellow, burnt orange, brown, maroon. Yes, sir.
I do like that color scheme, but of course I got to go with our home side here tonight because we didn't get a chance to see these on the road. So seeing these at home is going to be a treat.
I'm a fan of home jerseys. I like the color. I think white is fine on the road, but I like the colorful jerseys on the road for sure. It's 17-minute periods, and both teams set up around their respective nets. And looks like it's going to be Logan Spiegel in net, I believe. He's backing up. Victor Kulikov is skating towards him. Oh, looks like it's going to be Kulikov in net.
Okay.
Not the first time we saw Victor either. He was the starting goalie up in Lake Forest. So Victor Kulikov will get the start today. Victor 2-2 on the year, a 3.39 goals against, save percentage just under 89%. And for the Ramblers, Charles Trapp is their regular goalie. He started 9 of the 12 games.
We also have Charlie Niego, who has his water bottle in his glove. And he's a little bit closer towards that net. I'm wondering if he'll be getting the nod tonight for the away side. For the home side, though, we take a look at number 80, and that is Jackson Sterner. He's played in 14 of the 15 games here for Glenbrook North. He has 11 goals. 4 of those 11 goals are on special teams, and by that I mean 2 power play goals and 2 shorthanded goals, in addition to his 6 assists that bring him to a team leading, not only is he team leading in goals, but team leading 17 points.
Yeah, player you can use in all aspects of the game, right? Even strength when you're up a man and when you're short a man. And in goal for the Loyola Ramblers, it'll be Charlie Niego. This is his 4th start of the year, 2-0, 2.91 goals against, and save percentage just below 89%. We're about ready to go. It'll be Nicholas Jackson on the draw for GBN and Connor McCauley for the Ramblers. 17-minute periods, and we are underway on this Wednesday night. Took me an hour and 25 minutes to get here from Wheaton this afternoon. The roads were fine, but traffic was abysmal. Getting up here tonight.
With the snow globe we've been living in, I like you said, the roads were fine, but I'm sure people are still freaking out that there's that white stuff falling from the sky.
I will say it did give me an opportunity to listen to a lot of Christmas music on my way in, though, so that's okay. I'm one of those guys who, the day you get through Thanksgiving, I turn my radio to 93.9, and then it stays there until January. I love that Christmas music. Here's a shot from a bad angle by the aforementioned Jackson Sterner, and the save is made by Niego. Are you a Christmas music man, Mike? I saw your
At
Instagram. I
times.
saw your Instagram post the other day with your Spotify listens for the year. And I didn't see any Christmas music on that, Mike.
No Christmas music on that one.
A lot of Linkin Park.
Linkin Park for sure, and basically all my Halloween stuff.
Yes.
I mean, you got Avenged Sevenfold and System of a Down, and what else I got on there? Slipknot, I guess. So
Are you
I'm a little bit harder on that, but
are you a Christmas music guy?
I do enjoy it though, but
Okay.
I just
All right.
can't do it for a whole 2 months. So now that it is December, I'll dabble into that a little bit.
Oh,
Just
I can.
Not too much Mariah Carey from me. I can't.
I listen to it a few times.
It gets
yeah.
overplayed.
I could listen to it a few times. All I Want for Christmas Is You, right?
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
she makes. Good for her. She makes millions and millions of dollars in a short little window because of that song. Couple chances right out in front. That one knocked down before it gets in on Kulikov, and then the next shot goes up into the screen for a face-off. We're exactly 1 minute gone by. No score.
Loyola had a nice rush there, but they were kind of in a flat four setup where all four skaters breaking into the zone were all even with each other, so there wasn't really an option for a drop pass or a rebound opportunity. So when that puck popped out into the slot, there wasn't really anybody in a shooting lane to take advantage of that.
There's a shot from a bad angle, and
Mooring is
Kulikov
pushed
bangs
off.
bangs into that post and pushes the net off its pegs, so we'll get another face-off here. A clean face-off win by the Ramblers, and that led to a shot from down low by the red line. Early in the game, you just want to get pucks on net, right? Test that goalie early. Kulikov sticks that one aside. And out with it now is Karras. You talk about dangerous goal scorers. Karras second on the team in goals this year with 9. Drops it for Smith. Smith throws it back around to the far side. Karras tries to keep it in the offensive zone and can't. Ramblers out to center ice with it now. That's Jack Dwyer, and Ramblers are off sides. GBN now to the neutral zone. Gonna walk forward with it. Up the near point. It's kept in there by Luke Jackson for the moment. Dwyer now for the Ramblers. Cross-ice pass hits Daverman. Daverman gains the red line and throws it opposite corner. Now Jackson taps it back for Serra. Serra on the forehand, and he'll just throw it up into the screen.
Yeah, that'll be a face-off in the Glenbrook North
Yes.
zone, and they've had a couple of rushes in the offensive zone on the other side of this ice. I've liked what I've seen from the first and second line. You talked about those top 2 goal scorers for GBN, and they've had their chances, but it's mostly north-south hockey on both sides.
Shot through some traffic by Cox at the near point. Kulikov made the save, but I don't necessarily think he knew where it was, and he covers up for a whistle and a face-off.
A couple of bodies in front, not exactly a clear sight line for Kulikov, but we'll do it all again with a face-off once again to his right.
Draw one here by the Spartans. They'll skate it out to the neutral zone. The pass is behind Andrew Plyam. Knocked away by Gabal. Gabal runs into his own teammate, though, gives the puck back to the Spartans. Plyam gets hit, gives the hit, knocks down Christopher Cox. Up through the neutral zone. Tipped deep. Played there by Sully Lyons. Lyons bangs it off the wall out to center ice. Julian Gabal has to trail back. He plays it to Tommy Tingle. Tingle forward to Cox. Cox now up to Henry Hoffman into the offensive zone. Hoffman skates it deep. It's pushed off by Plyam behind the net. Cox right by that top of the near dot was waiting for the pass. Never came. Instead, the pass through the crease taken here by Jackson Babula. Dump and chase as GBN changes up. Hits the official right at the blue line. Lets the Spartans play it for a second, but back in the neutral zone. Who almost a giveaway there. That would have sent Connor Hannes in all by himself. Instead, it's slung around the far side. Jake Semmelhack not able to work it out. Kept in by the Ramblers below the red line in the near corner now. Big hit down there by Andrews. Back at the point, Donato. Back up the wall. Good defense there by Nicholas Jackson to take the puck away. Excuse me, that was Andrews, 84. Anticipated the pass, stole it. It's deflected in. Semmelhack, it's double teamed behind the net, leaves it there for Babula. Comes up the far side with it. Nice pass outlet to Semmelhack. Jake Semmelhack across the blue line. He dumps and he'll go after it. He'll pick it up along the back wall. Now in the near corner. Tries to center it. Sterner behind the net. Drops it back to the near side, but no green jerseys there.
Yeah, the rest of his line was changing, and he just kind of threw that back where it came from to try to cycle that puck, but no green jerseys in the zone still with him.
Sterner flips it forward to Gerald Thanis. Gerald Thanis down low, back to the far point. Back to Gerald Thanis in the corner. Sterner gets smushed there. Gerald Thanis back up to the near point. Now Luke Jackson at the near point. His shot through some traffic. The left pad save made by Niego. 2 to a side battle in that near corner. 12:20 left in the first. Slid around by the Ramblers. Blazejowski able to chip it ahead. And Perino back to the GBM blue line. Pass misses its intended target, and that lets the Ramblers take it, but now the other way. Theodore Gerald Thanis with a shot into the belly of Charlie Niego for a whistle and a faceoff.
Charlie Niego tested a couple of times right there. We did have a line change for the Ramblers in the midst of that, but tested by GBN. I think that initial shot went through Donato's legs and then still made it on net before finding its way to the wall. Then you hear the referee say, move it, and then the home team is right back in the zone again.
I mean, like I said earlier, early in the game here, you want to try to get shots in on these goaltenders. See how they're feeling early in the game, and nothing incredibly dangerous. Some shots through some screens for each side, but both goalies have stood tall so far. It's deflected in by Jobert, Luc Jobert. Takes the puck here, skates around James Morrissey. Now Sully Lyons with Jobert. Jobert now in the corner. Back to the point, Dine. Dine's pass comes out of the zone. And the Ramblers have to reset. Dine will gain the blue line and dump. Sully Lyons now whips it around the near wall. And out to center ice.
Good pressure from GBN up top at the blue line to force Loyola right out of their zone, and that forced Loyola to dump that puck down in there again, but then not able to get out of their zone cleanly, whereas GBN.
McCauley the other way, overskates the puck. GBN almost had a 3-on-2 breakout, but the pass hit a skate. It'll bounce out to center ice. Icing is waved off. Saying Christopher Cox probably could have played that. Instead, he leaves it behind his net. Big hit right at the blue line. Pliam has to clear the zone. That gives the Ramblers a chance to possess the puck. Andrews, it's Pliam. And Damian Jerzak will dump it in. Stopped there by Niego. Ovanian, Andrews at the point. His shot deflects wide, and Loyola comes out with it. Semmelhack plays the body instead of the puck, and that lets the Ramblers secure possession in the offensive zone with 10 minutes left in the period. Now Andrews, nice drop pass for Jake Semmelhack. Ovanian across the red line, one-on-one. He'll cut to the left, fire the wrist shot right into the LA on the chest of Charlie Niego.
You talked about getting shots on net early. Test these goaltenders. I don't mind that one, even though it's breadbasket for the goaltender, because it seems to me as though maybe they're a little light on shots on goal on the scoreboard, but it has been a little bit more of this Glenbrook North team shooting. Yeah. So might as well get a couple face-offs in the offensive zone.
Yeah, Spartans have looked pretty good so far here in this one, and out with it comes the Ramblers. Trying to skate through a double team is Daverman. He can't. Puck bounces through all the way in on Victor Kulikov, but Victor follows the bouncing puck and covers up for a faceoff.
You see Semmelhack right in front of that crease. We said his name a lot in that previous matchup that we saw of these two teams, and he really drives this defense, kind of that captain back there. He did a nice job clearing the puck on that last play, and then all of a sudden he's right back at his own doorstep to make sure that doesn't go in.
Does have that C on his jersey for a reason. Big number 95 in green. Has the puck on his stick right here. Finds Sterner. Sterner tries to hit Jarothanis. Jarothanis knocks the defender down. Now Jackson whiffs on the shot, but the puck still comes in on Niego, who's forced to stick it away. Jarrell Thanis, another big kid, number 97. Down to the neutral zone. That hits a skates, and back the other way comes GBN. Here's Sterner wide. He'll spin. Backhands it deep for Hannes. Puck right out in front. The one-handed attempt by Nicholas Jackson. I think may have gotten a piece of that, was the goalie, and deflected wide. Sterner keeps it in at the point, and then it's flipped up into the rafters with 8:45 left in the first, and a face-off will come to the left of Charlie Niego.
A little bit lower of a ceiling here than we've seen in some rinks.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe not so much from ice level, but from where we're up here, it does seem a little bit more of a flat roof. So those bars are going to get in the way if you really try to flip a puck out.
Face-off is won by the Ramblers. That's Michael Smiley able to dig it out to center ice. Now Anthony Chen. Forward pass underneath the stick of Babula. No icing. Nicholas Thomas gets hit as he plays the puck around the near wall for the Ramblers. And flipped out by Perino. Right back in by the Spartans. Not a lot of offense either way, but the Spartans doing a pretty good job, at least so far, keeping this Loyola Academy offense in check. And right as I say that, backhanded attempt in. And the save made by Victor Kulikov off the stick of Patrick Dine.
What we see a lot at this level, Aaron, is differences in teams in the neutral zone. And sometimes that has to do starting with your defensive zone. But what I've seen mostly from Glenbrook North is stretch passes to get out of the zone or get through the neutral zone. That leads to maybe just tap-in, dump-ins from the neutral zone. Loyola has possessed in the neutral zone, made a couple of nice crisp passes a little bit better, but both teams still kind of in that feeling out phase.
Cox with a shot through some traffic, and that hops up onto the right pad of Kulikov, and he makes the save. You see this Loyola offense taking these shots from out high. They've got 4 shots in the period, and I would argue that at least 3 of them have come from out high through a screen, and Kulikov doing a nice job tracking it.
Yeah, they really rely a lot on their shots from the point, as you're saying, and a couple of bodies in front can spell disaster. You got to worry that if they get a hold of one of those rebounds, which Kulikov hasn't given up too many, but if they do get a hold of one of those low in the slot, there's not going to be much time for him to react.
Chen flips it out with the backhand. It's cleared back in, but Joe Bear was offside, so that'll give the Spartans a chance here offensively. Joe Bear in the corner. Back to the far point, Tingle. Tingle underneath the stick of Jobert. Jobert now behind the net, playing catch with McCauley. The centering feed, the right pad save. Another right pad save by Victor Kulikov. The second one was better than the first. Wow.
A stupendous save from Kulikov to throw out that left pad right there. My goodness, what a stop.
Watch this. Oh, that's not it.
Yeah, wow, what a secondary effort there from Loyola, but an even better effort from the goaltender to stretch out in the butterfly to make that save.
Out to center ice. Here comes Sterner with it. Fires the wrist shot in and out of the glove of Niego. Now Donato, his pass deflects in. Serra has it behind the net. Feathers it forward for Nicholas Jackson down the near side. Jackson takes it around the defense. Gets run into there by Smiley. Now Anthony Donato. Jaro Thanis loses the puck. And Luke Jobert out now with a 2-on-2. Has Blazejowski with him. Excuse me. Jobert overskates the puck. Blazejowski tries to feed a cutting forward. Now in the slot is Jobert, and that's good defensive work by Jaro Thanis. And now it's iced by GBN.
GBN has a nice collapsing defense right there. You see at least 3 sweaters in front of their goal, so that's your 2 defensemen and an offensive player that has gotten back. And what they did right there is clog the pass to the slot on the first attempt. And if there is an opening to get a pass to the slot on the second attempt, they make sure there's a body in the lane in order to stop the shot. So if you can't stop the cross-ice attempt, you might as well stop any kind of shooting from a dangerous area.
Puck deflects into the near corner. Back to the point, Cox. He'll fire the wrist shot, blockered away by Kulikov. Semmelhack loses his stick, kicks it forward smartly to Morrissey. Morrissey gains the offensive zone. Ends up skating backwards, losing the puck. It comes around the near side, and it's out to center ice. Chen will have to go back and play a racing puck. No icing. Chen backhands it around for Raymond Karras, but gives the puck up, and there's a left pad save made by Kulikov off the stick of Dwyer. Now Karras 1-on-3 as it poked away from him. Smith has the puck in the neutral zone. Blake Smith. That puck rolls up on edge, and Charlie Niego just drops the big mid on it. 5 minutes, 29 seconds left in the first period.
Seen a fair amount of action at both ends, but more recently a little bit more in the defensive zone for Glenbrook North. So I'm going to try to make something of this offensive zone face-off. What you want to do is get a clean win and set up in this zone to get us a little bit of a push towards the end of the first period here.
Well, they get the face-off win, but the puck still pops out to center ice. Hoffman back into the defensive zone for the Ramblers. Now quickly out for Julian Gabal. Gabal centering pass is behind Hoffman. Outlet pass there. Jerzak tries to break through a double team and can't. Now the other way. Gabal goes down. And his shot's deflected wide. Exactly 5 minutes left. Gall, nice backhand pass to Thomas. Thomas, the wrist shot, doesn't make it through. It knocks Pliam's stick out of his hands, and they gotta do something about that net. That's the third time it's come off the pegs here in the first period.
Yeah, you see Kulikov's arms just kind of go palms up because he's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm covering my own net, and this isn't working. So we'll get a little bit of repair in the crease area right there.
Yeah, he hasn't bumped into it hard. Any of the three instances it's come off the pegs, he hasn't done much, and they're going to work on both pegs here for a second, see if they can get that thing a little bit further down into the ice.
Saw Gabal's entry into the zone. He did a nice job to turn around to receive the puck, but that full 360 right at the blue line, he loses an edge. Loyola still gets the zone possession, and then you mentioned a really nice pass from Gall to Thomas, and once again a shot from the point. This time it didn't have as much traffic in front, but Loyola really relying on their heavy defensemen.
Loyola offsides, so that'll give Spartans an opportunity here. Andrews getting hounded. He's not able to work the puck out. Thomas keeps it in at the near point. Centers it for Gill. Loses the puck there. Here comes a breakaway for Sterner. Sterner in all alone. He shoots. The blocker save made by Niego. That's the guy you want.
Yeah.
In all alone, the team's leading goal scorer, Jackson Sterner, just not able to finish.
That was yet again another nice 360 reception to spring him on that breakaway, kind of like Gabal's earlier, but Sterner didn't fall and gives his team a breakaway opportunity, just not able to capitalize.
Garothanis gets knocked down along the sidewall, and he'll go for a change. Andrews knocks it down right at the red line. Tapped forward, Hoffman. Hoffman gets bumped hard by Andrews, and now Nicholas Jackson behind his own net with 3:50 left. Sarah back up to Jackson, 3-on-2. Jackson cuts to his right. Cuts to his left, rather. Had Hannes on his right. If he had been able to feed it back on the backhand, Hannes would have been in all by himself. A high flip into the offensive zone. Sarah smacks it along the near wall, and that'll come out to center ice. Dwyer pushed forward by Hannes. Hannes knocks Dwyer down for his trouble. Now that puck is iced by Loyola.
A little bit of chaos going on back and forth there, but an icing will elicit a whistle, and we'll come all the way back down into Loyola's end. Loyola a little bit on their heels after giving up that breakaway. All of a sudden, tables could have turned right there. You have your, as we mentioned, your top scorer in on a breakaway. If you're Glenbrook North, that was a really great opportunity. Not sure what he did or didn't see on that shot, but when you get a one-on-one opportunity with the goaltender, you can learn something quite possibly for the next attempt.
Centering feed. Babula's shot, he healed it a little bit, and it came squirting off his stick. And now Loyola out with it. This is McCauley. McCauley's pass looking for Jobert. Finally finds him. Back to Gill, backhand. Tries to backhand it forward and can't. Bobula throws McCauley into the boards hard. Yeah, Beauvais.
Puck was tied up in their skates right there, and then both gentlemen just started playing the body until they ran out of room.
It's all about leverage. All about leverage there, and the Spartans had it. Donato stops right at the red line. Catches McCauley in the dome with that clear end. Yeah. I heard it hit his helmet. Yeah. Nice outlet pass here to Smith. A lot of play in the neutral zone right now. Again, neither team really doing much. Each team has had a couple of decent opportunities here in the first. That centering feed comes all the way through. Now Karras tries to sweep it forward to himself, too far out in front.
We're going to have a delayed call here. Looks like we have the linesman with his arm up. Or excuse me, the official down here with his arm up. It's going to be on the home side, Northbrook North. So I'm not sure what that could have possibly been. Maybe they're giving an interference call for some of that body-on-body collision. There was definitely something that the referee in the back saw clear on.
They got to touch the puck, and they do with 1:43 left. We'll see who's going. It's going to be a trip. That's a trip.
Oh, tripping, yes, yeah.
It's going to be a trip on, I'm not sure who. Karras? I think Raymond Karras going to the box here.
Looks as that's the case.
Yep. So Karras will be in the box for a trip. Loyola this season on the power play, 19%, 5 for 26. Glenbrook North has a 72% penalty killing team. They've allowed 6 power play goals in 21 opportunities.
It should be a battle of the special teams right here and see who prevails with similar numbers. But this Loyola power play, if they don't score here, will continue into the second period, so it's going to get chopped up a little bit.
Pass underneath the stick of Hoffman, and Spartans get tied up along the wall. They wanted a penalty called. They all stuck the arms up, but the officials didn't, and their arm is the only one that really matters. Kept in at the point nicely. That's Maxim Kading. Near circle. It's Daverman. Has it now far circle. Daverman quickly behind his net. Pass out the other way or right into the body of Victor Kulikov. Kulikov, not a particularly big kid, Mike, but moves well in his net, and that's not an easy save going from the near post to the far, but he makes it look easy because of his positioning.
Looks as though this Loyola power play is trying to set up with like a 1-3-1 system. One man down low. You've got 3 along the slot or the dots, and then 1 back at the point. But with the way they were cycling, they couldn't quite get into that 1-3-1. It was more of like a 1-2-2. So you're going to have to look for them to look for that opportunity in the slot and then send a cross-ice pass. I mean, that's your best opportunity when you're a man advantage. When you have a man advantage to send that puck east to west and move a goaltender.
Donato to Jobert at the near dot. Jobert's cross-ice pass, a couple of saves made by Kulikov. And Victor Kulikov has been standing on his head here a little bit in this first period.
It was Connor McCauley down low for Loyola that had 2 grade A chances.
You see it here
on the forehand.
Yep, you watch it here. Nice pass over to Jobert. Cross-ice feed right out in front. Kulikov, a couple of nice saves to keep this a 0-0 game. Jobert, now over to Blazejowski. Blazejowski at the far point holds Donato. His shot deflects up high off the glass. Blazejowski on the far wall now with 30 seconds left. Near dot. Finds McCauley. McCauley low. Jobert near dot. Wrist shot up over the head of Kulikov. Hits the dasher and will scoot out to center ice.
I think that caught a piece of Lyons on the back end there, and Sterner a nice stick at the point. You've seen this GBN special teams collapse nicely, but not too much to give Loyola too much room.
3 seconds left, right out in front. The shot, the save, the rebound comes out. The horn sounds, and we are through 1 period scoreless. Shots are 8-4 in favor of the Ramblers. close, but where it matters, it is 0-0. Mike and I are going to step aside for just a minute. We'll be back with second period action here on the Glenbrook North Hockey YouTube channel. Second period about to get underway. Teams will switch sides. GBN right to left, Loyola left to right. They have 14 seconds left on their power play. Daverman into the attacking zone. His shot up into the rafters. And Kulikov makes the save like he's going back over the wall at Wrigley.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I guess you can't really do that at Wrigley, can you?
Yeah, no. More
guaranteed rate.
Field.
Rate field out in left field.
Yeah, it's still Comiskey to me, but yeah.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both.
17 seconds to start this period of that power play time. Now
Half
down
gone,
to 9.
Back to the points. Daverman shot through a screen, and I don't know that made it in on Kulikov. I think it deflected wide of the near post. Here's a breakout as the power play ended. Karras came out of the box and fired that shot into the stick of Niego.
Perfect timing by Karras getting out of the box right there, and a stretch pass from GBN. That's what they've been doing all game. That time it's really going to work for you if you got a man breaking out of the box.
Pair of 10s going after it there. Henry Hoffman, Luke Jackson for the Spartans. Morrissey now down the near wing, gains the red line, dumps, hops around Dine, goes into chase. Dine in the near corner. Morrissey sticks him against the back wall and gets some help. The Spartans being outshot 9-5, but they got a couple of breakaways. You got to be pretty happy with that. Just have to finish. Out of the pack comes Loyola. This is Kading through center ice. Semmelhack drives him hard into the boards. And Kading has to go back to the bench, changing up. Now Chen smartly into center ice, and then it's flipped up into the Spartan bench. A minute and a half gone by here in the second period.
I believe that hit the official in the bench who was sitting on the wall right there. So, of course, that is out of play, and we'll get a whistle. But of all places, you go right for the Zebras.
And those guys are out there to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Protect the Zebras at all costs. That's what I say.
We're getting both gentlemen kicked out. I don't know, looks like they're just
telling Jobert and Sterner to back off. Yeah, they were both closing in on that faceoff dot before the puck was dropped.
That puck just died in front of the bench right there.
It certainly did, and it gives Loyola a chance. Jobert's pass too far ahead of McCauley. McCauley dives for it. McCauley goes wide of the near post. Donato through a screen, shoots it wide, and now Sterner. Cross ice for Nicholas Jackson. Jackson gains the blue line, dumps it for Gerald Thanis. Gerald Thanis fires the wrist shot. I think that hit the stick of Niego on the way through. Chen pinches, dangerous pinch, and now a 3-on-1. Jobert flips it to McCauley. McCauley shot, another pad save. That puck's put in, but the net comes off the post, and the linesman right away waves it off. It was Connor McCauley who scored, but the official is going to wave that off right away. Let's see if we can catch the replay on that.
That's an interesting one because we did see something similar to that in the NHL earlier this season. I believe it was the Wild and the Predators, in which the goal came off during overtime, and because the referees deduced that that was kicked off intentionally, they still awarded the goal because it went past the red line, the goal line, where it would have been in the net. But this one I think was just another Kulikov push-off that these moorings are, I don't know if they're fully stuck in there all that well. Of course, now he's on the other end, so you can't say it's that same net.
And the linesman immediately called it no goal immediately. So he was confident in his call, and not a huge argument put up by the Loyola side of things or their fans. So you feel pretty confident that that was the right call.
There was a good second where that net was off before it was placed in.
Karras goes down, and his shot is sticked away easily by Niego. Bumped as he comes out of his zone is Tingle, and he'll throw it in deep. Sully Lyons around the far wall. Gabal. Shot deflects through, and Morrissey gets it up and out. Gall into the neutral zone.
I'd like to see Morrissey maybe drop that back to his defense. I know that would keep Loyola in the zone, but you got nothing along the near wall there except for 3 Loyola sweaters.
3 minutes gone by, and there's a giveaway. Loyola has it out in front. Gall is not able to play the puck cleanly, plays it off his front skate. He had no green in front of him except for Kulikov. Here's a dangle. The backhand through goes through Hoffman. The slap shot deflects wide. Kulikov is out of position, gets himself back into that near post, though. Loyola sets up on the attack. Hoffman centers it. The pass, the shot, it comes in on Kulikov. It rolled off the stick of Cox, and Kulikov was able to track it. Now it's out to center ice. Perino dumps, gets hit hard by Morrissey. Lyons goes behind the net with Radel. Morrissey just trying to jam it against the back wall with his skates. Comes out the far corner. Radel. And now Ovanian. Ovanian 1-on-3. It's knocked off the puck. Dine chips it forward to Jerzak. Now Blazejowski out into the neutral zone. 4 green jerseys there, though. Blazejowski with Andrews in the corner. Given away by GBN. Blazejowski behind the net on the backhand. Throws it towards the far post, and Kulikov just drops the mid on it.
Kulikov had been swimming a couple of times in his own crease there, trying to glove down that puck. And if you're Loyola, what you're looking at is how not only have you tried to move the puck, north to south behind the goal to in front of the goal quickly, but also east to west to get him not able to cover like a wraparound opportunity. So a couple of times Kulikov has lost his netting, still scoreless here, though, in the second period.
Draws one by the Ramblers. It hops up over the stick of Tingle, though. And it's bodied out by Jerzyk, but cleared right back in by the Ramblers. Luke Jackson throws it around the far wall. Nice touch pass for Ovanian. Ovanian finds Pliam. Pliam throws it towards the goal. It's blockered away by Niego. Pliam into the far corner, but no green jerseys there, and the net's off its pegs. See it substantially here down to our left, but Loyola coming the other way. The shot, Kulikov makes the glove save on Jack Dwyer. The puck bounces out of his glove, but he covers it up.
That came up high on him, so good to make that save. But as you mentioned, on the other end of the ice, the moorings were off the posts again. You also had what I think was a net guard lying in the zone, so the Loyola zone was kind of
it was a mess.
A mess, yeah. So if you're Glenbrook North, you kind of wanted to stay down there. A beautiful exit on that last breakout for GBN. Loyola's expecting it to go up the wall, and they just poke it right out as the oncoming wingers streaking out of the zone.
Loyola possesses the puck here in the offensive zone. It's McCauley. McCauley was looking for Jobert. That pass didn't work, and we got another puck up into the rafters here. You can touch them. You can touch the rafters from where we're standing.
Yeah, Samelhack probably can too, but he decided to flip that puck straight up into the irons. So wrong iron. We'll get a face-off.
11:46 left in the middle frame. Still no score. Jackson on the draw with McCauley for the Ramblers. It's won by GBN. Garothanis for Jackson. Sterner was in ahead of the play, though.
I think Sterner and number 97,
that was Garothanis,
were both a step too quick on that entry. So we'll have a face-off right down in front of us here.
Jackson and McCauley again. It's won cleanly. Chen not able to play it the first time, plays it the second time. Garothanis, Sterner shoots. That's off the right shoulder.
Not sure if Sterner didn't have that in the wheelhouse right at the start of the pass, but he had that whole left side of the goal open. If he shoots that puck just a few seconds earlier, that probably finds the back of the twine, but I'm not going to argue with the top goal scorer for Glenbrook North, but you see him receive that pass right there and just hesitate. That extra second is what gave goaltender Niego a little bit of time to slide back over to his side.
Jada Niego's right. It's won by GBN. The shot through, the deflection. Oh, my. Semmelhack shot from the point. Hit something on the way through, and nice save there made by Niego.
I believe it was the shin pads of number 55 right there, Austin Beauvais. Another one in on net there, so we'll redo this one more time.
Saw the deflection, and while that replay was playing, Semmelhack had another shot from the point. A little bit easier save that time by Charlie Niego, and that was a reactionary save by Niego on the last one. I mean, that puck took about a 90-degree turn from that face-off dot. And then Connor Hannes on that back door, just not able to put it away. But
yes, Glenbrook North starting to take a page out of Loyola's book and just take shots from the point that have traffic in front of them, and it's almost worked out better in their favor right during this stint. But we talked about that last zone entry is probably the best opportunity, especially on the stick of your leading goal scorer, other than those breakaways.
Bouncing puck, Semmelhack knocks it down to himself, but then gives it up. McCauley with Radel. McCauley, the shot, right pad steered away by Kulikov. Long indirect pass to Sterner. Sterner cuts in between the circles. The shot bounces up in the air. Now it ends up in the near corner. Garothanis not able to keep it in. Sterner clears it in, but it hits Garothanis, so he'll be in offsides.
Good toe drag release from Sterner in the slot there to change the angle. Just couldn't get it through the defender cleanly, so it tips off and goes into the corner. But once again, that top line for Glenbrook North really making things happen in the offensive zone. And you've got Sterner in that offensive zone, dangerous things can happen.
A couple of good shifts here by the Spartans in the last few minutes. They've tilted the ice down to the left. Neither team has been able to break the proverbial ice yet. It's still no score. Kept in at the point for the moment, and now out with it comes Jack Dwyer. Dwyer wide in the corner, gives it up.
He whiffed on that pass twice right there. Otherwise, he had a man in front. And look out.
That's in. The shot from the below the red line, that was Pearson Daverman. Just threw it towards the goal. It deflects off Kulikov and in. And hey, you put the puck on the net, good things happen, and Loyola takes advantage of it. They're up 1-0.
Kulikov has that post hugged, but he's got the mitt facing his own hip, and it just goes off that backhand of his glove and into the net. And that's one that you definitely want back if you're Kulikov. You've played a phenomenal game thus far, and just for one to sneak in like that, that's got to hurt a little bit.
For Daverman, that's his 4th goal of the year. Now GBN the other way. Smith backhands it in towards the goal. It bounces wide of Niego. Morrissey. Backhand tries the short side. Behind the nets. Spartans have it. Smith. Karras. And again, you got about 2 feet. That puck knocked off that right peg.
I think somebody has placed these nets on, I don't know, maybe some carpet or something. These keep maybe some
skates.
Some tile. Yeah, the nets themselves have skates tonight. But really nice work behind the net by Smith to, I won't even say puck protection. He's just strong on his stick to keep the puck there and try to get it out front for his teammates. So another great chance from GBN. They tried to sneak one in there, as you mentioned, as well. So looking to maybe get a sneaky, cheeky goal like Loyola.
Sneaky cheeky?
Yeah.
I like it. Here's a shot that whistles wide. Lions now center ice. Sully over to Serra. Gets it right back. Indirect pass through Pliam. Donato will play it in his own zone. Gives it away, though. Pliam. Ooh, Loyola Fortunates. That's their defender had his head up there. That would have been a 3-on-0. Now you get a 2-on-1 the other way. McCauley on the backhand, and he hits the water bottle. McCauley. Connor McCauley roof job, and it's 2-0 Loyola.
Yeah, not what you want to see for Glenbrook North. The defenseman, I believe that was actually the forward, Pliam, I think, just tried to glove that down, and it ends up falling at his feet, but to the oncoming attacker for Loyola and the eventual goal scorer right there. And man, gave him the little razzle-dazzle with that fake to the back door. Instead, he puts it on his backhand and goes roof and in, water bottle popper.
Second goal of the year for McCauley makes it 2-0 Loyola. 2 goals in about a minute here for the Ramblers. Blazejowski's shot goes wide. Here's McCauley again. It's fought off. Andrews tries to work the puck around him and can't. Back to the point, Dwyer. And hit the rafters on the deflection on the shot from Donato. So we had a 0-0 game for the first 26 minutes of action, and Loyola scored a pair here in the last about 90 seconds to take a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I would say Glenbrook North's got to stay on their game here. I mean, they haven't played badly, just 2 quick goals, one of them kind of flukish, the other one just an unlucky 2-on-1 rush. You're still in this.
Dine's shot blockered away that time by Kulikov. And both of those goals came right after a couple of really good shifts for the Spartans as well. So that puck bounces back off the end boards. Bobula tries to tuck and just not able. I think he had Niego a little bit out of position there and just wasn't able to tuck it in.
Out of position, and then you have Loyola on their heels as they ice it here. So just keep up that pressure. Good things will happen. As you said, Bobula, that shot off the end boards, came back and could have gone off the skate of the goaltender, Niego, and that would have been, I guess, Glenbrook North's answer to a fluke goal to get on the board.
Sometimes that's what you need, though, right? Bobula with a hard backhand. Puck comes out the far side. Dine getting hounded there by Bobula. Now Gabal. Gabal's pass is knocked down. Beauvais gets hit. Hannes. And once again, we go up into the rafters.
Starting to see the Spartans play a little bit more of that physical game. We saw it in the defensive zone when it was, I believe, I'm not sure who that was, that Ovanian maybe? Could have been in the couple plays ago that was just playing the body and not the puck. We see a couple of big hits along the glass here, but like I said, stay on your game. Don't get yourself too tired out.
Yeah, still plenty of opportunities.
Still
plenty of time left. I mean, you still got half the game.
Right.
You just don't want to fall behind 3-0. As you mentioned, they've been playing some pretty good hockey as Sterner gets knocked down hard. Jackson in on the backhand. Save made by Niego. Jackson now in the near corner. Thanis in the corner using that size to control the puck. Flipped forward and out by the Ramblers. But Semmelhack right back the other way, Sterner. Sterner plays it off a skate, and he'll have to go into the neutral zone to get it. Or Jobert will play it for the Ramblers. Gives it away. Thanis. And you see the Ramblers, it's just, everything's just a half a step or so off. Had a chance there. Thanis had, I believe that was Nicholas Jackson on the far side, and they just weren't able to connect. Now here's Jackson, the wrist shot.
Nice save by Niego. Had to come across his crease to make that one.
Semmelhack. Sterner, nice little touch pass to Smith. Smith through traffic. Smith shoots off the post and out. And now the other way, a 3-on-1 for Loyola. This is Dwyer. Dwyer throws it through the shot, the score. Pearson Daverman inside the near post. And like I just said, the Spartans are half a step off, and Loyola makes them pay down at the other end. It's 3-0.
That one is even more of a dagger than the previous two that we've seen, because that was a beautiful passing play. First of all, you had Semmelhack play that puck beautifully off the boards in his own zone, find a man in the neutral zone on a stretch pass who doesn't even think twice. He already knew what he wanted to do with that puck. He just passes it over to Smith on a little tap in to give Smith a partial breakaway, and that just hits the iron. Came so close to getting that third goal of the game, which was crucial with the 2-0 lead, but instead it goes the other way, and Loyola has a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, that touch pass was Jackson Sterner, and yeah, it was a pretty feed and just unable to finish, and then right the other way, Loyola Academy makes it 3-0.
And sometimes you take that risk to create such a beautiful offensive play. I wouldn't even call it riverboat gambling at that point, because your defensemen weren't necessarily pinching when they shouldn't have, but a 3-on-1 the other way, and it's 3-0 now.
Shot wide. Sarah will play it in the neutral zone. Cross-ice pass for Ovanian. Ovanian clears it in as the Spartans change up. We're under 6 here in the second period. Bumped into the corner. Jerzak will go there with Dwyer. Karras gets knocked down. Lyons keeps it in. The bouncing puck. The rebound. Juicy rebound. And Brady Andrews is able to dump it in.
Once again, as you said, just like a half a step away from a perfect shot in the slot right there. Maybe a couple bodies in front, but still, Spartans are on the doorstep.
Luke Jackson gets himself free. It's it up to Jerzak. Jerzak into the offensive zone. Jerzak, his shot is deflected down. Back to the point. Andrews' shot is sticked up into the screen by Niego. And you feel like the Spartans are, I'm holding my fingers, millimeters apart here. You feel like they're that close, Mike. They've had any number of high-quality chances here so far in this one, and they just have not been able to finish.
When you look at the shots on goal here, 16-9 in favor of Loyola, who have that 3-0 lead, but it's actually felt quite the opposite. It's almost as if Glenbrook has had the majority of the opportunities here, and just like you said, ever so close to getting that stick in the lane there for the goal. Just nothing to show for it. Yeah, it's a testament to great goaltending on the other side. Niego has been solid in his net, but just, I don't know, just not there.
Bobula's shot, and there's a glove save made by Charlie Niego. And Bobula's interesting story. This is just his second game with the varsity green squad, and he's been very noticeable out there. Number 89's played a good game so far.
On that last rush for Glenbrook North, I think the bench was screaming that the Ramblers were in a change, so you could have caught him with a stretch pass there. Instead, they still get the rush and a couple face-offs in the zone, but here we back are in the neutral zone.
A couple of giveaways. The Spartans out to center ice. Right back the other way. Jobert walks in and gets hit from behind into the nets, and I think Andrews is going to go to the box here for a hit from behind.
Yeah, I believe so. Hit him right into his own goaltender. You had Jackson backtracking, a good back check right there, but he just cut across, and I don't know if he just missed but didn't touch the puck and still allowed that to get to Kulikov, and Loyola had an opportunity. So honestly, not a terrible penalty for Andrews to take with Loyola right on your goaltender in your crease, but you also don't want to have to defend for another 2 minutes already being down 3-0.
Well, that is exactly what will happen here is Loyola will have a man advantage for 2 minutes. It says 14 up on the board, but it is not 14. It is 84 in the box. Jaro Thanis will just turn and fire it the length of the ice. Dwyer. Or excuse me, Donato leaves it for Blazejowski. Blazejowski down the near wall. Cross ice pass, Jobert. Back to Donato at the far point. Donato top of the far dot. The shot through, and Kulikov will see that puck into his glove.
I believe that hit something before it got to Kulikov and kind of just died in front of him. Not sure if it also clipped a part of his jersey, but it landed right in front of his glove and able to cover that up in the crease.
Sterner wins the draw. Semmelhack in the far corner battling with Dwyer. Dwyer comes out of the corner with it. Takes the shot from a bad angle, and another save made by Kulikov.
Good job by Kulikov not to cheat on that one, because there was a backdoor option, and it looked like the diamond formation for Glenbrook North was allowing that slot pass, but the shooter decided to take it straight to the net.
Dwyer had Jack Blazejowski coming down that backside, but decided to take the shot instead. Now here's Dine near dot. He'll hold and just sweep it deep. Kading. His shot is deflected by Jaro Thanis. Bounces up in the air. Now in the corner, Nicholas Thomas. Hoffman. Thomas behind the net.
There's that 1-3-1 setup that we were talking about. Now there's two at the top, but watch those wingers go low.
Daverman shot, the rebound, and holding that far post as Kulikov makes a couple more saves. Daverman back at the points. Now far point Dine, and we got a whistle and a stoppage because Thomas lost his glove.
Yeah, that had been sitting on the ice for quite some time, but we'll get a whistle there. Looks like this faceoff's going to come out of the zone all the way to center ice here.
I guess you got to hang on to your equipment, right? You hang on to your gear.
Yeah.
So neutral zone faceoff, center ice faceoff, it appears. 45 seconds left on the power play, 3:13 left in the second.
We are going to move this right in front of the Loyola bench.
Daverman walk across the blue line, but offsides was Loyola. A tough period here for GBN. They've been outscored 3-0, but they certainly have not played bad hockey. It's just, you know, they miss by 6 inches at one end, and then Loyola is able to finish at the other.
They've done well on the penalty kill, but I don't know how much momentum you can build if you realize after killing off another 2-minute penalty. Oh. Look out.
That comes right out, and there's another goal. That was Connor McCauley, and absolutely nothing that Victor Kulikov could do about that. That puck rode the dasher, and then it hit one of the posts, bounced back out in front of Kulikov, who obviously wasn't expecting that to happen. He ended up out of position, and there's another goal for McCauley, and it's 4-0.
That's just unfortunate. I feel like I jinxed that there, as I was saying. You know, you're getting good looks from your penalty kill throughout this season and throughout this game, and you know, it's hard to build momentum off of that, though, with a 3-0 lead, let alone a 4-0 lead, when that actually takes a weird bounce and finds its way in the back of the net. That's just unlucky for Glenbrook North.
Yep. Jobert right back on the attack for the Ramblers, though. Pushes it deep. Ovanian in the far corner. He'll shovel it ahead. Pliam, the backhand feed, looking for Jerzak, but that's knocked down. Semmelhack indirects. Pliam tries to one-handed forward, gets it back. Cross-ice pass Ovanian. Ovanian back to Jerzak. And Jerzak not able to tip it in.
Jerzak seemed to be lifting the stick of the defenseman, and the puck had already come to him.
McCauley loses it to Semmelhack. Now Tingle with 2:15 left in the second period. Jobert into the neutral zone, plays it off the legs of McCauley, gets it back, and he'll just dump it deep. Semmelhack not able to play it out, and it is eventually worked out by Pliam. Ovanian throws it into the body of Donato. Jerzak around Donato. Jerzak runs into Tingle. Now Donato up and out. Semmelhack. Chen goes indirect. Ovanian screaming for the puck. Donato gets knocked off the puck. Semmelhack feeds it out in front. He was looking for Connor Hannes, but they weren't able to connect. And now Donato into the attacking zone. Runs into Bobula, and it's cleared out and iced by the Spartans with 1:20 left in the second.
We want to give a quick shout out to Joel Schneider and Jim Smith, who sound like they are the usual videographers here for Glenbrook North Varsity. So
shout outs.
Shout out to those
Love
gentlemen.
a good shout out.
Watching from home, I believe. Unfortunately, the score line isn't what you were hoping for, I'm sure, but still plenty of time left in this game. Glenbrook has to get on the board at some point here. You got to feel it.
Beauvais down the near side. Beauvais looking for Hannes. Hannes tries the back pass to Bobula. It's kept in at the point for the moment. And now out with it's Patrick Dine. Dine finds Gall. Gall into the skates of Luke Jackson. Down to 50 seconds. Near wall out with it. Deflected, and Bobula clears it to center ice. Dine, near dot. Up through center ice, into the body of Beauvais. Played by Bobula, who turns and fires it in. Smith hit the post earlier in the game, and then takes a run at Patrick Dine, drives him into the back wall, and Loyola comes out the other way. Gabal out to Gall in between the circles now. Gall spins on the forehand. Cox with the shot, and he puts it up underneath the crossbar, and that water bottle shot about 10 feet up in the air, and this has been a 5 spot in the second period by Loyola.
Wow. That is impressive. You talk about water bottle poppers that we've seen already tonight, but Cox just unloaded on that one and flung that thing, as you mentioned, 10 feet in the air. He also had a man in front screening, so that was all Loyola on the back door there. Nothing that Kulikov really could have done differently there to save that one. Just didn't have defense in front of him.
So 5-goal second period by Loyola Academy. What was scoreless is unfortunately turned into a bit of a rout here. We'll see if GBN can go to the locker room and come up with a plan in the third period. Finish. They had a breakaway. They hit a post. They had a couple of really good opportunities in that period, but unfortunately, the only finishes were by Loyola Academy. So we're through 2 periods here in Northbrook. GBN trails 5-0. Third period about to get started here at the Northbrook Sports Center. We have a change in goal for the Spartans. Out is Victor Kulikov and in is Logan Spiegel. Spiegel making his 8th appearance of the season. Save percentage of about 85%. He'll come in and, you know, the line is a little gory for Victor, right? 5 goals on 20 shots, but he didn't play poorly, Mike. He really didn't. I mean, I would say at least 3 of those goals are of the you can't really blame the goaltender variety at a minimum. Could even be more than that, but at a minimum, you had a breakaway, or you had a couple of 2-on-1s. You had a puck that took a weird bounce off the end boards. Just not his night, not the Spartans' night. We'll see what happens here in the third, though.
I know he's probably going to, or that first one is going to keep him up, going off his glove on the near post, but everything else seemed to be one of those fluky bounces, except for maybe one other on the breakaway. There's an opportunity for Glenbrook North. Yeah,
Bobula just healed the one-time pass from Beauvais. He was right there, though.
So as you said, I would say, 3 of those are not really his fault as a goaltender.
Sometimes this feels more like a goaltender switch to try to get some momentum rather than, hey, our goalie didn't do what we needed him to do, because he didn't play poorly.
This is the first time Spiegel has entered a game and not started it. So you mentioned those 7 prior appearances. It'll be the first one that he just gets a period.
Slap shot goes over his head. Takes a funny bounce. Jackson tries the aerial pass to Sterner, hits Sterner in stride. Sterner tries to feed it back to Jero Thanis, but that pass too far out in front of him. Thomas gets double teamed behind the net. That's Jackson getting bumped in the corner. Now Sterner cycles it deep for Jero Thanis. Kicked forward by Thomas. Played back to the near point and out. Hoffman gets away from Jackson. Hoffman, the centering pass, the backhand attempt by Gabal goes wide.
Tried to go forehand, backhand, give him the little razzle-dazzle right there and just ran out of room.
Jackson there it is. Did he tuck it in? He did. Nicholas Jackson in a phone booth, Mike, somehow drugged that to his forehand and picks up the first goal of the game for the Spartans.
There is an argument from Henry Hoffman that says the goal was knocked off, but that was in behind the goaltender before that post started moving. And you see at one end it was kind of the same thing for Loyola, and Glenbrook North comes back the other way and get on the board. Anything you can do, I could do better, I guess, is one of those.
For Nicholas Jackson, his first goal of the season.
And a big one, though.
That was a pretty goal, too. Didn't have much space down there at all, and you said it, was able to get that puck across the red line right before the net came off the pegs, and the Spartans are on the board.
You know, maybe a 5-1 deficit, but your first goal of the season, get yourself on the board, give your team some life, and a great response to what looked like the exact same play at the other end of the ice.
Bobula's shot from the neutral zone is sticked into the corner, and we'll see if that gives the Spartans some life here. Centering feet out in front, and it squirts away from Vincent Serra. He'll have to come back and play it in his own zone. A couple minutes gone by here in the third. Hannes deflects it in. Dine gets bumped by Bobula in the corner. Hannes over, tries to dig it out. He gets pinched by Thomas, and Thomas will take the puck. Blazejowski now into the neutral zone. Centers it there for McCauley. McCauley out to the far wing, Jobert. Jobert, Blazejowski. Back to McCauley. McCauley stops, feeds it around on the backhand. Bobula just lifts it out of the zone. And we do have an arm up for an icing. 13-13 left, 5-1. Ramblers with the lead. Spartans on the board here in the third period.
You saw good puck protection from Loyola along the end boards there. A little start and stop from the attack, and able to keep that puck swung around the end boards, but not able to work it into the middle. So that's a testament to that Glenbard North defense, keeping them along the perimeter and keeping that puck all the way out.
Punched out to center ice. Morrissey will race for the puck. Couple of 34s go after it in that near corner. Donato wins it away from Morrissey, and then he'll sweep it back behind him to Christopher Cox in the near corner now. We've
seen a number of number matchups tonight. Two Two 34s.
Here is one number 34, Morrissey. Punches it forward. Puck comes out. The bomb goes wide by Radel. Ovanian out to center ice. Morrissey gets into it with Donato again. Taken there by Gall. Gall flipping it to Radel. Radel tries to stick handle through traffic, goes down, no call. Jackson pins him up against the corner boards. That came out, but the far side of referee did say offsides. I was waiting for that arm to come up. Andrews too far out in front of him. Gall now the other way. Gall fires a shot wide. Dwyer, Tingle, D to D. Donato, his shot deflects up into the rafters.
Loyola starting to buzz a little bit here in the offensive zone on this last shift. Puck squirted out a couple of times, but has been mostly in this Glenbrook North zone, and a lot of that has to do with good puck protection, good cycling around the end boards for Loyola, but also moving their feet real nicely to get into position to cycle that puck. Seems like they have a little pep in their step now.
And a goal will do that.
Yeah, you lose the shutout.
Far side of the ice, Chen, Jarothanis. He's got Andrews and Sterner with him. The pass behind Sterner. And now the other way comes Loyola. Here's Daverman, who has a couple of goals today. Knocked away from him by Semmelhack. Semmelhack goes down hard behind the net. Cross ice pass, nobody there. That'll come out to the neutral zone. Sterner on the forecheck with Thomas. Thomas to Kading. Kading loses it to Nicholas Jackson. Dwyer throws it through Daverman. Daverman has it low. He'll throw it off of Spiegel, and Spiegel was moving to his right when that puck was shot off his left leg, and he was able to recover and cover it up.
It almost looked like it came and hit him first, and then he realized, oh, that didn't hit the side of the net. That came on to me, so I can't cheat and go to the other side already. Could have been a little bit dangerous there for Glenbrook North.
Spartans win the draw. Donato clears it in, rings it around. Jerzak behind Sarah, who will play it. Sarah throws it back to Sully Lyons in the far corner. Lyons indirect Raymond Karras. Karras tries to leap around Donato, but left the puck behind. And Loyola not able to play it out. Hemmed in a little bit. Donato now. Slowly into the attacking zone, Dine. Dine shoots and scores as he gets knocked down by Vincent Serra. Patrick Dine by that far faceoff dot went top shelf. That 5-goal lead is back.
I believe that snuck in on that near side of Spiegel, and you heard the bar there, bar down and in, re-extending that Loyola lead to 5 goals, and that's just a perfectly placed shot right there.
And we've seen a couple of those from this Ramblers team. Last period, it was Christopher Cox from the near point.
Yes.
Hit the water bottle right there, Dine. So a couple of defensemen with some shots right up underneath that bar. Tough to stop.
And that's really what we've been saying since the start of this game is Loyola relies on the defensemen to take those shots for them, most of the time coming from the point. But you get somebody with a powerful shot like Cox, or in that instance,
Dine, yeah.
Dine, you've got that low, or at least from the dots shot. You're going to be able to put that up high with some speed.
The clock is going to run here with a 5-goal lead in the third period.
Some of the Loyola fans are hungry for dinner, I guess. They're looking to go home.
Yeah, it's a little late for dinner. I guess as a hockey family, yeah. 9:30, 10 o'clock is normal dinner time, right? I would imagine.
I would imagine
for a high school hockey
some
family.
Of these skaters are going home to do homework after this, maybe
yeah.
even.
I don't miss those days, man.
No, not at all.
Cleared back in. Loyola's offsides. Brady Andrews up the near wall. He'll go down, lose the puck.
He ran out of room. 3 Loyola sweaters right there at the point.
It's into the body of Beauvais. Bobula tries to take the shot. He can't. Kept in by Beauvais and drops it in front of him, but then loses it. Nicholas Thomas has it now for the Ramblers. Shoveled forward by Tingle out to center ice. Jobert loses the puck. Beauvais walks to the far dot, rips the shot off the left arm of Niego. Centering feed, Derothanis just not able to play it. Cleared back in by Luke Jackson. Sterner has to touch up. He does, but now Loyola Blazejowski into center ice. Semmelhack goes right back to Blazejowski. Up through the middle, Macaulay tips it into the attacking zone. Chen will throw it around for Jake Semmelhack. Derothanis' one-touch pass for Nicholas Jackson, and then the return pass goes wide. Semmelhack clears it in. Derothanis bumps into Donato. Has it taken away from him by Radel. Radel up the far boards, out, and I see an arm, and there's the whistle. 7:45 left, clock still running.
Loyola not exactly playing a keep-away game, but playing a conservative game. We talked about how in the offensive zone they rely on their defense taking shots, but they're also quarterbacking them in their own zone. A lot of D-to-D passes. They're looking for that perfect breakout, and if it's not there, they're calm under pressure, and they're making sure that they work it back into an area that they can keep that possession and keep that clock ticking on Glenbrook North.
Next opportunity for the Spartans to get right will be Saturday, 4:30 p.m. at Stevenson. A chance for the Spartans to get a much-needed conference win. The next home game isn't until the 13th, 7 p.m. Here's a shot by Ovanian that's deflected. That'll be against York. Spiegel taps it to Semmelhack. Semmelhack off the boards, looking for Ovanian. Ovanian has it taken away by Cox, so we'll flip it to the far side. Quickly forward for Radel. Now Perino, his shot is into the glove of Logan Spiegel, who will hold on for a whistle with 6:20 left.
You mentioned the 2 upcoming games for GBN. You've got the Stevenson Patriots, who are sitting right below Glenbrook in the standings. And then the York Dukes, who are sitting right above this Loyola team, the Ramblers, in the standings in 5th place. So going to be an easier matchup, and then right back into another tougher matchup for this Spartans team here.
Hey, you got to start to win some games, right? You got about 2 months left in the season. Right? The season ends right at the end of January, beginning of February, so you got about 2 months to get right in sort of regular season play. So now is as good a time as any, right?
We see some of the banners in this arena, in this rink, and not sure which varsity team they pertain to, but look out there.
There's a shot, and the net is off its moorings again, and that was Charlie Niego. It's about the 6th or 7th time we've seen the nets come loose.
Yes, so we know it wasn't just Kulikov. Yeah. It's definitely
it's a net problem.
For the nets here, but that wasn't going in anyways. Good glove by Niego that kept it out. In fact, him kicking the net almost still put it in the net, but we'll get a face-off, of course. We were talking about the banners here. We see
lots of banners.
SHL, Scholastic League, the Scholastic Cup champions. Glenbrook North was the
it looked like about a
champions.
Decade ago. About a decade ago. This both varsity and JV squad. You look at 2012-13, 2013-14, 2014-15. A lot of banners, a lot of wins here for Glenbrook North, but also 2025. Oh, and there's a beautiful tip out in front by Julian Gabal. His third goal of the year makes it 7-1, and absolutely nothing Logan Spiegel could do about that. Yeah, the captain wearing that C, just getting a nice tip in right there. And that increases this lead, keeps that clock running even more so now. 7-1 Yeah, it's just, but again, another goal that really outside of the first goal that was given up by Viktor Kulikov from that bad angle, I would say every other goal that Loyola has scored has been an odd man rush or a tip or put someplace that you just, you tip your hat to the shooter and say, go, well done. None of those goals that you would consider grubby, right? Like no jam shots in the paint or anything like that. Just high quality chances, and the Ramblers have taken advantage.
And despite some of those hard shots we've seen from Loyola, I mean, it's really been by committee for this Ramblers team thus far. You've got a lot of players with 2, 3, 4 shots or 4 goals. Look out! There's
another goal. Jobert scores, then gets knocked down by Blake Smith, and then slashes Blake Smith from the ice. And now we're gonna have
some penalties.
We're gonna have a lot to sort out here. So Smith took down Jobert as Jobert scored that goal, and then from his backside, Jobert slashed Smith from the ice, and then all heck broke loose down here to our left. And my guess is we're probably going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. We've got under 3 minutes left, and we'll see if they just run the clock down here. That clock is still ticking away.
By the time I think they assess these penalties, we're going to have just about 2 minutes to go here, if that. And yeah, it'll be little to no time on the clock anyways, so we're going to kind of decide what's going on here. We'll get the news to you as we see who enters the box and what the officials decide on doing. But going back to what I was saying about this Loyola side, I mean, you've got Blazejowski, who has 7 goals leading the team, but you go from there, everybody else 3, 4, a couple of 2s in there.
Yep.
You saw Patrick Dine get his first of the season tonight, but yeah, it's been by committee for this Loyola side. So we talked about them relying on their heavy shots from their defensemen, but also just anybody that can move the puck like they do.
And my guess at this point, we're down to 2 minutes here. So with what just went on with the score, wouldn't surprise me if these officials spend the next minute 46 seconds figuring out the penalties and just letting that clock tick away. No reason for anything. And no reason to allow any further, I don't want to call it nonsense, but stuff at this point.
It does look like we have Jobert in the box.
Well, sure, yeah. He was the one who slashed Blake Smith. Smith knocked Jobert down.
Score a goal, head right to the penalty box, basically.
Yeah. They're going to stop the clock with 1:30 left. So it looks like we are going to play 90 seconds of hockey. GBN will drop to 5-9 with 1 overtime loss, 1 shootout loss, while Loyola will improve to 8-3 with an overtime loss and a shutout loss. I was prepping for the game, and I was trying to figure out why the league standings and the team standings didn't match up. Loyola says their standings coming in said they were 8-5, but the league standings said 8-3-0, and then that overtime loss and that shutout loss. And I can do numbers on as long as it doesn't require toes, fingers are fine. So I was able to figure that out. So Jobert's going to go to the box.
Well, not just the box.
He's going to go. Excuse me. He's going to go to the locker room, which is only 1:30 left. I assume he got a 2 and 10 for that slash after the fact.
I do see one other player serving that too. I can't tell who that is in the box for Loyola Ramblers, but I don't see anybody in the box for Glenbrook North other than their backup goaltender.
Viktor Kulikov, yes.
Well, yeah, at this point, backup goaltender Viktor Kulikov, who just doesn't have room on the bench for the backup goaltender, so he's just kind of there trying to catch a number for you.
So a tough night here for the Spartans. This was nothing. Don't forget, this was nothing at the end of the first period.
And this into the second period
this game was scoreless about halfway into the second period. So Vincent Serra is in the box for the Spartans, but still just the 1 penalty up on the board.
And that's number 24, Connor McCauley, serving it for the Ramblers.
So it looks like the only penalty that's going to be called or the extra penalty. And Sarah's not in the box anymore, so it looks like the only penalty that's being called in all this is Connor McCauley.
Yeah, full 5 out on the ice for GBN, for the Spartans, and I'm sure if you're Loyola, you're not too worried about this, regardless of how it goes down, because you've got a 7-goal pad going into these last 92 seconds. But
yeah, you want to end the game on a high note. You want to kill this penalty, obviously. And if you're GBN, the exact opposite is the truth. You want to finish off this game, and you want to see if you can put one in the goal here in the final 90 seconds. Shot will hit Hannes and comes out to center ice. Chen. Bobula will sweep it in on the backhand. Cleared up and out. Spiegel throws it around the boards. Cut off there by Daverman. Beauvais up to Hannes. Hannes across the blue line, gets stopped right at the blue line and cleared back in by the Ramblers. Spiegel stops with under a minute. Now he'll sweep it around the near wall. Hannes backhands it forward, looking for Bobula. Kading pins it against the wall. Now backhands it far side. Semmelhack will spin back into his own zone with 36 seconds left. Hannes tries to hit Semmelhack on the return pass. GBN is off sides. Kading throws it in on Spiegel, who sticks it away with 18 seconds left. Beauvais holds with 10. It's going to be a tough night for GBN, but again, you see sometimes you watch hockey games that have wide margins of scores at the end, and you go, yeah, that felt like an 8-1 game. This didn't feel like an 8-1 game. GBN had plenty of opportunities. Loyola, though, was the team that was able to finish, and they win here on this Wednesday night, the first Wednesday in December, 8-1.
Definitely very perplexing, as you mentioned. This was a very evenly matched game, and very much not so. Down to the last whistle, you saw a Glenbrook North power play that couldn't even get into the zone. Of course, down 7 goals. Couldn't have really salvaged much there anyways, but that's how that one will wrap up. An 8-1 victory for the Loyola Ramblers on away ice here at Northbrook Sports Center. Glenbrook North falling in this one.
And that'll do it for Mike and I here from the Northbrook Sports Center. Spartans lose 8-1. Until next time, he's Mike Napolitano. My name's Aaron Shellen, and this has been Glenbrook North Spartans Hockey.